Alright, so as we showed, a lot of things are getting fixed up, but here's a problem I'm still having. And this one's kind of baffling me at the moment. So here we are, the signals again the way they normally are. I don't want it to be this way forever, but for right now, they show, basically clear on this side. Everything in the interlocking is normal. And we show clear on this side. Okay, sweet. Now, if we throw one of the crossovers, alright, so we're going to cross over and look alright. We have a red over flashing green on this side, which is correct. And, which is not correct, but it's correct for the way I have it programmed so far. I have another corresponding red over flashing green on this side, so he's lying through that crossover. That's all well and good. One of the things I had to come up and fix was I realized that part of the logic was looking at, obviously, if this block becomes occupied, that corresponding signal should drop to stop because there's a train in this block, and it does. And vice versa, same on the other side. If I occupy this block on the other side, way on the other side, that signal will drop. That's all well and good. The problem becomes when I have this turnout right here, which goes into the branch line. Now bear with me here. The issue is, and one thing I had to do is, obviously for the way I'm set here, he's going to cross over. So I'm going to show this here's my little Mighty Mite. So a train comes into this block and occupies it. That signal drops to red, stop, which it should. I mean, that's correct. And this is red because the turnover is lined against them. So that makes sense. What I had overlooked was, for a little guy like this, when I bring him into this block right here, so he's past the gap, he's in the interlocking, but he has not yet crossed over to this track. I mean, for that signal, I was checking this track. I wasn't checking this track right here. So right now, you'll see I'm still red on the left-hand signal there. I wasn't before until I fixed the logic, because I was overlooking the fact that a tiny little train or a little Mighty Mite like this would occupy just this and not this block yet until he crossed over into this side of the interlocking. So for this little stretch right here, that signal would go back to green. Actually go back to red over flashing green. And it did. I mean, it did. I fixed it. So now, obviously, he stays in there. It stays red. I bring him over onto this side, which I had been checking before, and everything's nice. Everything works. So this is great. This is kind of the way we expect it. And I fixed all the interlockings, and they all correctly take into account now when you're crossing over. The problem becomes, in our situation here, now, imagine I'm lined to cross over, and another train's coming the other way, and he's going to come down, and he's going to go into the branch line. Okay? So we throw that turnout. Now, the way I've set it for now, I have this kind of hard programmed. You can see I'm red over yellow. That is kind of the diverging signal to go into the branch line. And the way I originally wanted it to be was if a train, and here's our train, comes into the block here, that signal drops to red over red. Now it doesn't now, because there's a problem with that. Because logically, this situation right here, a train coming into this block, and this is all the block, it's here, that's all the way up to there, is the exact same thing as this. A train coming up into the block and dropping that signal. So, I'm all clear here. What happens is, you can see, I go red over red. Because of the fact, and that's because the little mighty mite is down there coming in, right? He's coming, that's exactly what you want to happen to that signal. All right, well, let's take him off. So now the block's clear, right? Oh yeah, it is clear. Look at that. Now I'm red over flashing green, which is totally possible. I could have a train coming on this track, going to go to the branch. Train coming on this track, going to cross over, or running around them, or whatever. This is perfectly acceptable. But watch what happens. Now remember, that's all one block. So as soon as I roll this guy in to come here, what the logic says is, oh, you're in that block, drop the left signal to red, red. Which is not really what I want. Right now I would want that to still be red over flashing green, because I'm not in his way, so to speak, you know what I mean? So I'm going to have to figure out how to do this with some conditional statements to make it do what I want. This is not what I want. Not that this situation would happen all the time, but right now, like I said, this logically is exactly the same as that. The program doesn't know. I told it if this block is occupied, this block being, I'm really looking for here, but this block physically is also all of that and up to about where the car sits there. So I said if that block becomes occupied and you're lined to cross over, drop that signal on the left to red, red. So it's doing exactly what it's supposed to, but it's not what I want. So I got to figure out a way to, you know, he's not occupied. He is occupied, but I don't want that like that. I want it in this situation, regardless of what I do on the other track, I want it like that. So I'm gonna have to figure out some way to do this logic based on the position of this turnout, based on the position of the crossover up there, and it's mostly only that of the far crossover, because if this crossover, you wouldn't normally have this crossover lined reverse with this crossover lined reverse as well. I mean, I guess you could. You could have a maintainer in there working, but think about it. Most likely, if I had this reverse, is because I'm going to come in or out of the branch line, I wouldn't line this switch, this turnout, this crossover, to also, you know, come onto this track. You just, I don't know why you would. This one certainly, because you might be working over here, going into the yard, coming out of the yard, or whatever, and you want to come up and cross over, or bring a train this way around them, over this way. So that's perfect. It's going to happen, I'm sure of it. So I got to come up with some way. It gets a little bit more complicated with what we're trying to do automatically. Again, if it was a dispatcher man in this, it'd be simple. The signals are red till I clear them. It would not be this hassle at all. But since we're trying to make it automatic and somewhat realistic, I got to figure out when you have an interlocking like this with double track and another turnout inside the OS or inside the control point, how to make the signals at the entrance and exit do what you want to do. So that's the next issue. So I got to work on this one. Not sure what I'm going to come up with. I'm going to try to get this resolved because I'm close, but I just want it to be a little bit more accurate. So we'll see. I wanted to record this so you can see kind of the things you run into before I fix it. I haven't fixed it, so I hope I can fix it, get some logic in place that'll do it. Time will tell. Maybe before the update I'll get it fixed, so we shall see. Alright, so for this signal I finally called Uncle. I just can't get it programmed the way I want to, and I'm not really sure you can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new block, which will basically be this part of the interlocking. This will be kind of the original CP Wallace Junction 1A now, and this will be CP WJ1B, two separate blocks. I can use the same feeders, just have to wire them differently. I do have a spare DCCOD, so I can use that. So the new block will basically be from here, obviously up to about there where it goes up to the branch line, and then up here, hopefully up about halfway through the turnout, and right here on the other side of the frog. I'll just use the frog brake as the brake for it. So that way, with this block being separate, I can do some programming to catch the situation. The biggest situation was not so much when they're individual, but if you can imagine, I have this turnout thrown to come up into the branch, and either a train coming out or coming in, and this crossover here is thrown reverse. That was the problem situation, because the way my logic is set is once I come into the block here into here, which is CPWJ1, that block, that then sets this signal to red over red because I occupied the block. Well, that's great, but it's the same block from here, I said, all the way down. So even if I'm thrown crossed over and the train hasn't arrived yet, it's going to cross over, and I bring a train out the block and occupy that same block, I throw this signal to red over red, which I don't want to do. I want it to be, leave me alone. You're not bothering me because you're on this track. So I'm going to do that. I should be able to get that done relatively quickly. Let's say just repurpose these two feeders. I have a spare assembled DCCOD. I will have to do a little bit of work under here. I have a spare input right there. I have one spare input. So what I'll probably do is take the new DCCOD. I can put a jumper here so it's all common. Bring my track common over to the track common board. The track lead go up to those two feeders. The 12 volts and ground. Bring them over to 12 volts and ground. And then the input wire, run it down to the appropriate input. Make a couple changes on the programming, and I should be able to do it from there. So we'll see. So that's how I'm going to tackle that situation. I just don't have a better way to do it. Maybe someone smarter with code could do it, but I really don't think you can, just because of the fact that the way it's set up and the way the trains are going to run, I can't separate the situations. If there's a train going here, crossing over, it occupies currently this whole block, so I can set logic up on that. But then when I bring a train here and occupy the same block that's already occupied by the train crossing over, I don't know how to do that and be smart enough and make the signals do what I want in the automatic world. Again, this is only because we're trying to run these automatically. If the dispatcher was controlling it, wouldn't be a problem. He would throw that signal red or whatever he's going to do, and it wouldn't matter because the dispatcher controls the signals. But trying to do it automatically adds a little bit of a logical complications to it. So that's what we're going to try, and if we get that all done and working, we'll get that prepared and hopefully get it in for the update this weekend. Okay, here we are. It's about an hour later. There's the new block detector. Got it wired in. Going up to the bus for the new block. So we're going to call CPWJ1B, as in Bravo. And the other block will still be this one right here. The original block there. So that's all in. Just tested it. Ran a locomotive over the gaps and everything. Made sure the occupancy worked. There's no polarity issues or anything like that. So I started to do some of the program mods. I got the input set up for unpacking. Got that done, which is really all I got to do, because all I added was that one, like I said, the one input there at the very bottom. So got to do that. I fixed up the screen so it displays properly. I had to move around some of the occupancy text boxes in the form that I made, and now it's a matter of programming to get the signals to indicate properly. So we'll do that next, but first I need a break for some dinner, and then we'll try the programming and see how it all works. Alright, I think I got it figured out, and at least it works the way I was hoping it for. So I'll show you here how we're going to test it. Just have a little bit of fun here. Oh, sorry about that. This morning's test are the NS3000, our friendly branch line friend. Say hello there, this guy. Alright, and he's sitting there ready to come out of the branch line. Everything right now is lined normal. So the signal is green, green. Again, I'll want to change that to be red, red, but we'll work on that later. Our other test friend is the NS7210. Say hello. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to bring him around. I'm going to throw the switch coming out of the branch to be reverse. The signal there on the right should go red over yellow. I'm going to throw the crossover down there so the our 7210 can cross over and it won't affect the other signal, which is what I was struggling with last night. So I got the other, like I said, the other block is in now. So let's go ahead and have a little fun here. Alright, so we got this crossover lined reverse. This is where the 80 Mac is going to come out. And now you have this switch here, reverse, out of the branch line. And we're looking at the signal up here at this end. Alright, so that's what we want, red over flashing green on the one, because again it's not set up properly. It's the same as on the other side of the interlocking, but I haven't got the interlocking signal set perfectly yet, but the one on the right is red over yellow. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the 80 Mac to come over, and you'll notice that signal will drop to red because he's in the block now. See, he just occupied this block here, which dropped that signal there to red over red. So we're going to bring him around, and then we're going to get our branch line buddy. We'll get him to start. This guy gets a little bit closer. I'll pause until he gets closer. Sneak around the back there. So we're going to get the guy in the branch to start coming out. And we want to make sure is when he's coming into the block, the 80 Mac crossing over, it doesn't affect the signal on the right. Okay, he's in the interlocking, didn't drop that signal. My branch buddy's coming out. He's going to occupy the block at the same time as the other train's crossing over, and it went to red over red, so that's good. So they're both kind of coming out together here. So they both come out. Now what's going to happen is, let's see, that's going to go back. They're both going to go back to kind of where they were originally. I know it's not perfect. It's not the exact way I want. That should go back to red over red and red over red. But for now, it's going to have to do until I can figure out some direction of the traffic variables. So it seems to work okay. And if I take our branch line tester and back him back in, okay, that'll drop to red over red as he goes back in the branch. Now unfortunately it's going to go back to yellow over red. Once he clears there, but that's the best I can do at the moment. Probably not totally realistic. You probably would want to drop it to red and keep it red, but it will go back to red if, bear with me here as we drone fly over here. So if I throw this back to normal, come back to right here, and now he's at red over red because the crossover is lined against him. That's why that's still red over red, and this one's on the other side is flashing. So that's how we want it to work. And then if we take our other test train and back him in, I turned the sound off, but I think you can get a little toot out of him if we're nice to him. He might. The engineers don't like being treated like this when they just don't want to get out there and run. All right, so that goes red over red. There we go. And now he'll stay that way because he's in that block. And one other thing we can verify, and if we drone fly backwards here, over on this signal, as soon as he comes in the block back there, that signal should drop. There it goes, drop to red, red. So that means he is in the block way back there coming around. And this signal appropriately dropped to red, red because he's occupying the block. So we're definitely getting there. Definitely getting there. It's not perfect yet, but at least it gives us some animation. And once I can figure out the direction of traffics so I can keep everything red, red until a train approaches in the block, it'll probably look a whole lot better. But we're there. I'm starting to understand the code. I'm starting to get things fixed up here. So progress being made.